Hello and thanks for joining us here on France 24 for France in Focus. In this edition, we examine the country's hotel industry. That's because during the course of the last decade, there's been some new arrivals on the scene here in Paris, especially at the top end. And that's forced many of the established players to smarten up their acts and in some cases undergo some major renovations. We're now at the Park Hyatt Paris Vendôme Hotel, an institution that is ranked above 5-star. It's what's known as a palace hotel. There are just over a dozen of them nationwide, and it's a label that can only be awarded by the French Tourism Board. Well, let's find out more now about this prestigious palace status.
The palace label is a whole new stratosphere of luxury with incomparable service, design and amenities. To be deemed a palace, hotels need to already have 5 stars and go above and beyond. 38 criteria are required to claim that coveted title. Among the categories judged is the ratio of personnel to clients. There must be over 50 rooms, each at least 20 meters squared. The quality of the service has to be impeccable. Luggage must be delivered to the room in under 10 minutes. Then there's the aesthetics. Architecture is key, as well as the prestige of the guests. Dali favoured Le Maurice, while the Rolling Stones prefer the Bristol. Coco Chanel spent the last 30 years of her life at the Ritz. Outstanding and original amenities are also indispensable. The Bristol features its own bakery and a private 1,200 square metre garden in central Paris. Of the 16 palace hotels in France, half are in the capital. The others near the sea or in the mountains. The icing on the cake of a French palace is top-class food. The Gourmet restaurant with a celebrated chef, the Georges V, just received its 3rd Michelin star this year.
Well, we're now in one of the suites, the like of which is favoured by visiting celebrities, some of whom have very specific requirements. But at top-notch hotels like this one, there's a whole team of people on hand to attend to every tiny detail. We're going to take you now to one other grand old institution to find out what happens there behind the scenes.
Every day, palace life starts underground with the deliveries. First up, it's Philippe Guyot and his flowers.
We get 3 deliveries per week, Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday.
The flowers come from Holland and Ecuador. Philippe arranges some 200 bouquets a day.
I do a number of arrangements. This is the Medicis, the big bouquet, the little bouquet, the pom-pom and the centerpiece, and those are for the loos.
Attention to detail is key, with bouquets tailor-made to the colour scheme of each specific room. There are 188 of them, including 92 suites. Everything is overseen by a group of diligent inspectors, known as gouvernants, or controllers. Romuald Menin is 25 years old, and nothing escapes his attention.
We check between 10 and 13 rooms per day, and it takes around 30 minutes per room so that everything's in perfect order when the guest arrives.
With room rates ranging between €1,300 and €24,000 a night, perfection is non-negotiable. Employees even wear made-to-measure uniforms. For 31 years, in-house tailor Lucie Nanoral has worked hard to keep her colleagues looking the part.
Have the sleeves been done? There was a problem, they were 2 centimeters too long.
Yep, that's done.
Great, and the trousers too? With the stripes?
All done.
Great, thank you.
Workers' names are hand-stitched into their shirts, everything meticulously arranged.
These are for the sommelier, the maitre d', the bellboys and valets, and the concierge.
But that's not all she does.
Sometimes the new arrivals are quite young. They can be pretty lost when they start. So I'm something of a mother figure to some of them.
All guests at the palace are familiar with one name in particular.
Can you please take that to 915?
Austin Spooner, the concierge. The Scotsman's been working here for 18 years. It's his job to know each client's name by heart.
So we have 188 rooms. And yes, you need to remember the 188 names. Every day I want the concierge to know who exactly is coming and going.
But how do you do it? Discretion and luxury at every turn. Last year, 70,000 guests came through these doors for a taste of palatial living.
Well, back here at the Park Hyatt Paris Vendôme, I'm joined now by the hotel's general manager, Claudio Ceccarelli. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. We're now in one of the very exclusive suites at the hotel. Tell me a little bit about the sorts of people that stay here.
First of all, our main clients are, of course, from the different nationalities. Main market is still the American. Second is the British. Third, particularly a few years ago, used to be the Japanese. But surely this type of hotel has been appreciated a lot, particularly by the fashion people, by the artists, by a lot of bands and young actors.
Can you remember anything in particular when they've asked you something really extraordinary, some really unusual request?
I was called during the night for an American celebrity who wanted to leave the hotel at 5 o'clock in the night by helicopter. So it was midnight, so we had to organize an early departure by helicopter. We were a bit late. We were able to get the departure only at 7 a.m. with 2 hours late.
Well, congratulations for that. It sounds like quite a challenge. And of course, Claudio, there's a lot more competition here in Paris than there used to be. There are a lot of hotels that have opened in the last decade or so, and a lot of hotels have shut down and they've decided to go for a total renovation. Are you feeling that extra competition?
First of all, it's true that now Paris is experiencing the worst condition in the market. Increase of offer, decrease of demand. This is really the worst scenario on the market. During the last 2-3 years, many new hotels, important brands have opened, like the Peninsula, the Mandarin, Shangri-La. On the same time, since January 2015, Paris, of course, has experienced, a decrease due to the terrorism attacks. All the news about Paris, the negative news about Paris, of course, didn't help, of course, the travel to this wonderful city.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Claudio Ceccarelli, the general manager of the Park Hyatt Paris Vendôme. Thank you for speaking to France 24.
Thank you.
Another must for a palace hotel is a correspondingly chic restaurant, ideally one with 1 or 2 Michelin stars. Well, in the latest edition of the Michelin Guide, 2 palace hotels here in the French capital were awarded with 3 Michelin stars. And needless to say, this is all adding a further element of competition amongst these palatial establishments.
At this grand Parisian hotel, customers are served day and night.
For sure. Just a hot milk? Uno, s'il te plaît.
Everything from taking the order to preparing it is done with a flourish. In the hotel restaurant, final preparations are being made and instructions given out before the evening service.
It's Madame's birthday, so he's going to ask for her hand in marriage.
Here, discretion and perfection are the golden rules.
Make sure you're not hanging around the table at that point.
Behind these doors lies the gourmet restaurant of this gourmet hotel. a crew of 20 works to make sure nothing is left to chance. They may be creating the same dish for the customers, but sometimes they have to adapt to particular demands.
We also have some orders that don't appear on the menu. We create special desserts for our regulars here.
The crucial requirement at these sorts of restaurants is to have a chef with an internationally recognized name.
Sir, tzatziki, then a pigeon and a snapper.
Eric Fréchon is the head chef here, one of France's best, with 3 Michelin stars to his name. He sees his position at one of Paris's grand hotels as a means to express his creativity.
The ingredients are what really influences the menu and help us stay creative year in, year out. We're lucky to have both the best products you can buy and the best workforce out there on the market.
But of course, high quality comes with a high price. This restaurant at Paris's Bristol Hotel has a budget of 360,000 euros a month. Getting awarded a Michelin star does generally lead to an average 30% increase in turnover in the first year alone. However, keeping the highest standards in terms of ingredients, service and a well-stocked wine cellar often leads to astronomical overheads. Paris's grand hotels have a well-honed strategy to deal with that.
A gourmet restaurant can sometimes pay for itself, but the actual profits come from the wider restaurant service, things like catering, bigger events and room service.
Profits at this level of French gourmet eating can go from 0 to 20%. The owners of these grand hotels are well aware of this delicate balance, but the value for them comes more from reputation and what goes onto the plates of their customers.
Well, that's it for this week's edition of France in Focus. Thank you very much for watching and see you again soon here on France 24.